The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. As always at this time, what do we like to do?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And, well, we've had some action while I've had a short vacation to recharge the jets. And we had a little kind of a pullback. You could probably say that you could look that in the eye on Friday. The shorts ramped up their shorting. On Friday, just before the close, they ran that day to about 20% more than the previous 4 days. So there was significantly more shorting going into Friday. Of course, it gapped down at the open, and in about 10:30, something happened. That something was a market got spooked by people not buying any bonds. And there is a reason for that. That is, of course, that most of Wall Street is smart enough to figure out that money that is going to be paid out in premiums, at least to Houston and maybe even in Florida here shortly, it has to come from somewhere. Insurance companies put your money into the stock market and then into the bond market, more heavily in the bonds than in the stock market, but they have to sell things to pay out big time events like we saw in Houston. So the question is, when are those companies going to start coming to the window and checking out, exiting stage left? And what we saw yesterday was that a lot of people are thinking it's bonds. The bond auction went probably as extremely poorly as it has in 7 years. I think that was the date. I can't remember now. But I think it was 6 or 7 years it's been since it was that bad. And everybody was selling bonds that were non-U.S. Treasuries and piling into U.S. Treasuries because most of these companies do not hold on to U.S. Treasuries making little or nothing. They're actually in the riskier part of the bond movement because they need to get some cash back, even if it's in bonds. They can't just break even. They've got to make some money. They want to hopefully make 5-10% off your premiums for insurance. So what we saw yesterday was a couple things, but we saw a few people going to the counter and cashing out. Most likely from the size of that, it is the first tranche of many of these insurance companies going to the well. It has not been uncommon for the U.S. government quietly in the background to lend these big insurance companies money so that they can slowly sell their positions and not have to go to the counter and sell everything. And the question is, just how long do you want the selling to go on? Is it better just to pull the Band-Aid off? Or just let nature take its course and the market come back as everything is for sale? And that is the problem. You get enough of these companies, the market's already thin, jittery. You get even somebody like yesterday saying boo. Everybody thinks it's that movie It coming out on Friday. Did it come out, or is it coming out I think it's coming out this Friday. But there's nothing creepier than clowns, are there? And you put clowns and that writer from Maine together, and you get super creepy movies. But we'll talk about that more later. Anyway, you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always post a message in the den. But the question is, how are those sales going to happen from the insurance companies? And with what's today? Wednesday, got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, most of Sunday at least. So you got 4 days. How many times do you know a hurricane that didn't change directions over 4 days? They almost always seem to. So I'm betting in my little pool with my friends, I'm betting on a landfall in Georgia. Just a thought. Georgia to Tennessee. That's the way I think it's going to go. But we will see. And, of course, I had to beat somebody over the head over the last couple of days, actually several people, because statistically they said, this is the strongest hurricane ever recorded. I said, well, how many years have they recorded hurricanes? Well, mid-1800s, something like that. I said, okay. So for all we know, this biggest hurricane recorded is 1/10 of the actual biggest hurricane ever. Well, it might be. Anyway, people just use statistics in such horrible ways, and it's really starting to get to me. But we will soldier on anyway. I know some people say the Bataan Death March was bad and tough on those folks, but me, having to listen to people use statistics wrong or not having any kind of vision and know that maybe there's a much bigger time scales at work. You never know. I think I'd take the caning from the Japanese soldiers. That's what I'd think. Anyway, let's get to some history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
So what is going on today? Well, in 1976, a Soviet Air Force pilot lands his MiG fighter in Japan and asks for asylum in the United States. The incident was serious embarrassment for the Soviets and also provided a bit of surprise for U.S. officials. As one U.S. expert joked, I guess it could have been worse. It may have been made out of wood. We didn't know a lot about the way that they'd constructed these things, hadn't had a good look at them. They'd been kind of kept in a little area. There was a fear that one of these things could go fast enough and briefly catch an SR-71 and shoot it down. Well, they shouldn't have worried about it. If you'd flown these things at the speed that they could go, the engines would have eaten themselves in 5 minutes. When they took apart the radar, they found out it was using tubes. Yes, those things that used to be in TV that glowed. Tubes that were made and stolen from the U.S. in the late 1950s. Anyway, we'll talk more about this. Probably the more important thing is where a lot of these planes for these MiG fighter guys ended up, because most people have a different view of what I'm going to say next.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Anyway, this is one of many fighters that ended up in the U.S.'s hands. Many ended up in Taiwan. They were all boxed up and eventually sent to Area 51. Most people think that Area 51 is secret because of aliens or even some of the new airplanes that we weren't willing to see. And of course, those were developed there. But they had one thing there. They had a fighter school with actual MiG fighters. And many of our pilots, in fact, probably, I would say, 50% of them were trained up there on Area 51 against real MiG fighters, and most of these were given to us by people leaving Russia for a better life in the United States. This pilot, by the way, became a U.S. citizen in 1980, actually found work and became a fairly well-known designer of airplanes, and I don't know if he's still alive. I couldn't find that out before I got, but they were they brought a bunch of people over in a plane as fast as they could from the Skunk Works to take a look at it, and that's probably the best quote. It could have been worse. It may have been made out of wood. Apparently they weren't that nice. And of course, the plane was kind of built maybe 20 years too soon for the technology that the Russians had. And it actually has become fairly decent plane. But it was always a gas hog, although it could go very fast. Going very fast blew up the engines. And that's never really ever changed. But they still show it off as one of the big planes. If you've never been over to Russia, one thing that it instantly hits you if you're any good at engineering is just how horribly everything was built over there except probably one thing, and that's their missiles. The airplanes, the tanks, literally everything was built like a Hugo, just the worst piece of crap in the world, barely put together correctly, and nothing changed on that. Over the weekend, if you missed it, I brought this up many times, but they bury a lot of big news into 3-day weekends because most people don't pay attention. I always like to go through, especially the stuff that hits about 6 o'clock on Friday nights, and I did so. What did we find out? Well, the SEC sending out enforcement division letters asking for justification of certain adjustments being made. Basically, this is the first wave of getting rid of non-GAAP earnings in the marketplace. The SEC is holding hearings, and if you're thinking about comparing apples to oranges on the years going forward, it looks like the SEC has made a deliberate decision not to let non-GAAP earnings go very much farther, and that they may even change it to making sure that all earnings have to be reported as GAAP earnings, which is generally accepted accounting principles. So yeah, that's it. What else do you have out here? Well, somebody's asked me what else was interesting. To the end of the week, Podesta had 2 Russian clients that both are linked to Putin, but I know that never really hits. A bunch of reporters got fired at CNN for reporting bogus news again. That didn't go very far. They hid that fairly well. Anything else? And there was a bunch of other stuff, but that's it. I think the big news, at least in the market, I think, was that first shot across the bow yesterday with the selling of some bonds and everybody wanting to get out of the non-treasury bond market as quickly as they can, thinking that many of those big insurance companies will end up being liquidating at least a good deal of their holdings that they've had for many years. That's kind of it. Let's go ahead and start looking at some charts. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. The first email of the day asks us to, Stephen King. Yeah, he's the creepy writer. I couldn't remember him. But apparently the creepy clown movie is coming out, and now everybody's freaked out that not only will we have a hurricane, but we'll have creepy clowns running all over the place. And, of course, clowns were creepy before he started. I never understood the whole clown thing to begin with. But, what can you say? Okay. Let's see if there's anything else going on. Just want to hit it. First one is semiconductors. We went in on Thursday to the June 9th high at 89.72. That day had almost 9 million shares. Of course, last Thursday we hit that with 4.42 million shares. Kind of pulled back hard yesterday with the rest of the market. It had significant volume. A little pop today without much juice in this. When you take a look at it, these are fairly decent make or break levels. That means that probably any close much lower than 88.50 in the SMHs would suggest that you're going back to 85.50, maybe 86 bucks. That's kind of where support lays. More questions about Apple and their shindig on the 12th. So what is that? What is that? Okay, next Tuesday. For Apple's big dog and pony, which they're going to have in their new UFO spaceship building that cost them $6 billion. Man, if there's one thing I hate, it's people spend lots of money on new buildings because the history of new buildings has been horrifically bad for over-the-top kind of things like that, especially when you hear that most people hate the building that actually have to work in it. This did go higher. Volume didn't get anywhere close to the 70 million shares as it broke the previous high of August 8th. That was 161.83 at 70 million shares. You basically went through that, closed above it a few days. Best day you had was about 30 million shares. And that was, let's call it 28 million shares. As it busted above, it is back into that trading range. And I think you've got a lot of room here, depending on how Apple decides to price this phone. And that's going to be the most important thing. Is the base phone under $1,000 or is it $1,200? If it's under $1,000, I think they can probably graduate enough people. A lot of people just have to have an Apple phone. You pay over 2 or 3 years, maybe people aren't going to say anything. Over $1,000, I think that becomes very difficult. And you may see a lot of people heading for the exit on Apple's phone. If this thing comes out at the rumored $1,199, which is the rumor right now. Did Apple issue $5 billion to buy back more stock? I don't think so.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we've got the market kind of drifting up slowly into the highs. 2470, that kind of area should be fairly decent resistance. Certainly don't have a lot of volume today, and that is 2 billion shares at the bottom of the 2 o'clock hour Eastern time. So again, fairly light volume on a Wednesday coming back. Just about everybody should be back in the office from the Hamptons visit today. They should have made what kind of decisions they wanted to make either yesterday or this morning. So the most important thing that we can see in the next, let's call it next 24 hours of trading, is a bunch of juice coming into this market for fund buying, because this is it. This one, just the way the dates fell, is fairly easy to push this fund buying out till today and maybe as long as tomorrow morning. But so far, this is not that much. The volume on the upside, not all that exciting. So once again, back up to the highs, no real juice. And I think with the earnings out of the way, not a lot of reasons to think that we are going to go much higher. Question whether or not we go lower. Anyway, just a smidge over 2 billion shares on the NYSE consolidated tape at 2:30.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to open your portfolio to a world of opportunity, consider the new market-safe emerging currency CD from Everbank. This 3-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 5 equally weighted currencies from Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, and Turkey at a time when experts see great potential for global growth. Even better, it features a 7.0 leverage factor, which means you could earn a potential market upside payment of 7 times the CD's performance at maturity with no cap if the currencies increase in value over the CD's term. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. Don't miss out. The September 28th funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back, and apparently CIA didn't like me talking about Area 51 and pull the mic cord. Well, they can't hold me down any longer. I'll spill all the dirty little secrets. Anyway, what else is going on here? Apple, as we said, I don't know if this leaks early, but if it does, you probably, if this thing does come under $1,000, I think you could get another $10 out of it. If it goes to $1,200, I think you got back down to 153 level, because I think there'll be a really big question whether or not people are going to spend that kind of money, no matter what it does. And I've thought of all the things my friend's dad would have said. He had quite colorful speech, and I can hear it. Even he died almost 30 years ago. I can still hear his voice in my head. He had kind of a colorful language of the drill sergeant in what was that? Full Metal Jacket. I think that would probably be the best description of his language abilities. It was filthy and funny. But anyway, big move here. I think it has more to do with anything with the price of the phone. And until that leaks or we find out from Apple themselves, that one probably has a lot of volatility built into it in the market. What else do we have? Take a quick look at Tesla. Rather quiet out here. Saw a lot of articles that seemed rather very interesting on the existing products that they have not selling that well. And there was always an issue on whether or not having a really high-priced unit that you make lots of money on and exchanging it for a product that sells almost for half, a little more than half of what the more expensive one did, what it would do to sales. Well, it certainly looks like it slowed down the sales of the product that had the most margin in it. And a lot of discussion about that today. It really hasn't done much. Even yesterday, didn't recover much. Continued on lower today. Again, there's no signal on this one yet. It's in a big triangle. You would probably think to fade the first direction out of this one is the thing to do. I'm hoping that it pops up to 370 where I can get a target on it and pull the ripcord on a short, which I think is the right side of that trade, if you can hold through the volatility. Let's see out here. Okay, just looking through a few other things. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And thanks, Ocean Message. And see if there's anything else. Okay. look at a few other things. MSFT, check some of the biggies and see what they did while I was gone. Again, not a lot going on. You had your gap down yesterday. It's up on fairly light volume. We'll look at Fascist Book. The Fascist Book, folks, didn't really get much movement to the downside yesterday, up a little bit, but volume's not all that exciting. We'll find out what's going on with the Gulag at Alphabet. And you got a nice dragonfly-looking doji out here today. He came down with more volume yesterday, looking at it flat. I don't think I would be shorting these, but I do suspect that we're going to get a lot of these, and Google may be right now the most the company that's got the most to lose, and that they're doing a bunch of things that are ticking off literally everybody, including me, kind of on the edge of book burning and the worst part of the McCarthy communist hearings. They've decided what is and what isn't available to hear on their channels. So basically the big stamp of censorship a la 1984 and Big Brother. This thing certainly looks like it could get back down to the AA 905 area, maybe as low as $900. And I think you can make a case that this is at least the first leg or the first confirmation of a possible ABC down in this one. Let's see what do we have. We get it to 106. Yeah, there we go. And now just a 1-to-1 on this one, which I'm not sure this thing could do. I think low 900s, but 1-to-1 ABC on the way down would be 870.74, and I wouldn't be that surprised to see it actually get down in about 960 level. Is there a gap there? You can make a case, I suspect, that it should at least fill this big gap going back to the April 28th. But I think there's a lot of people that are starting to get kind of ticked off. About half the YouTube channels that I watch have to do with stuff like chemistry. And these guys are getting edited. Their comments are being shut off. And it doesn't even have anything to do with politics or anything else. They've used a rather broad brush, and it looks like I'm always wondering whether or not there's somebody going to be smart enough just to set up a competitor to YouTube, because that is a huge business, and I don't understand why there isn't more competition in it. I think that Google's opening the door for somebody that doesn't that wants to be a free speech advocate. And I think, you know, if you're going to start a business like that, you got a lot of ticked off people that are big content producers from YouTube. You pick those guys up. I think you could steal away a great deal of Google's business, and it wouldn't take much in the way of time. You could, you know, with the way things work today, you could kind of set up a YouTube, run it on Amazon Web Services, and be in business in 2-3 months. So Vimeo, yeah, Daily Motion, yeah, but they're not really the same thing. Vimeo is kind of tied into YouTube with some agreements. Daily Motion is kind of a, it's got its own problems. I think, you know, somebody like Microsoft or even Facebook could open up, except Facebook's in the same thing. They're both thinking that 1984 was a manual of how to do things, not a warning of things that could come. So they all kind of, they're more than happy to do that. I don't know why the birthplace of free speech in Berkeley has turned into the land of zero free speech, but it has. What else do we have? Anyway, possible ABC down on Google, that would be 870. Let's see, NFLX. I almost started my subscription back up to Netflix. I've been Netflix free since the beginning of the year. The only reason I think I'm going to come back for a month is BoJack Horseman. And even this one has a fairly nice setup for a possible ABC down. There's no confirmation yet on that. Oh, yeah, I already know about Ozark. I know all about it. I've had my buddies in the Midwest have called me and talked about the shoddy way that people in the Midwest are being portrayed on that show. Yeah, I probably would love it. So I may have to take a look at it. Anyway, if Netflix is an ABC on the way down, that's 152.19, which is really just kind of back into support. I would not be surprised to see this, although there's no sign to pull the trigger on this one yet, or even sign of weakness. The volume's a little lighter than you would like to see. But there are a lot more stocks here that if we start to fail, do set up kind of a nice pattern out here of possibly failing. You really haven't had a lot of juice. You gapped up on lighter volume. You pulled back and filled that gap, which you have to like, back on August 21st. Now the move up here gets into some of the resistance levels that you've already broken through. You'd like to be seeing something like 25 million shares. You've got about 6.5 million shares today. So again, so got a couple emails I need to respond to during the next break. Just a thought out there. Okay, so does that kind of take us through everything? Let's take a quick look at IBM, seeing if this thing, the dog with fleas, you got to bounce. It's doing nothing but go sideways, so you don't have anything in that. See if there's anything else out here. I wanted to look at PAWN, or how about PANW? Palo Alto Networks, been waiting for these things. This thing did gap up, I noticed, last Thursday on earnings. So maybe these things, the security companies are back. CYBR, take a quick look at that, see if it had any pin action. Well, nothing really on that, so let's take a look at FireEye. These are kind of different companies. FireEye is hanging around 15 bucks out here. Is there anything to write home about on this one? No. You know, if it could get back down to 1370 on very light volume, that one continues to look like that. 1374 from August 21st is a fairly decent support level. And I think, especially with North Korea and Russians and everybody else, eventually the internet's just going to come to a standstill, and people are going to have to buy these people's products, both CyberEye and FireEye and the rest. Just imagine if the North Koreans decide tomorrow, along with the Russians and the Chinese, all to hack everything that's even potentially hackable in the United States. I think these guys could, and it's probably going to actually take some kind of tsunami or hurricane for everybody to get back on the ball with computer security. But man, if that got back down to 1674, I kind of like that. Might get that opportunity because I'm thinking that I might be short in the next 24 hours. What else? Okay. Okay, just a few more emails here. Let's see. We going to break here shortly? I think we are. We'll get a few things to look at here in the last segment. But again, the big news today or yesterday was the bond selling that kind of shook everybody up. Today, it's the total lack of volume on, we got probably another 5 or 6 hours of possible fund buying, and there doesn't look to be much going on in that. 2.14 billion shares on the NYSE. So not a good thing. We haven't seen any volume last week really speak of for fund buying, and nothing much coming through so far. Be back in a second.
Tom O'Brien has just announced that he'll be coming to Boston September 30th for a free workshop, The Art of Timing the Trade. Join Tom O'Brien Saturday morning, September 30th at the Boston Marriott in Burlington, Massachusetts, as he breaks down his trading methodology and provides you with the tools to become a more successful and profitable trader. Everyone that attends in person will receive a free signed copy of Tom's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. Daryl Martin from Apex Investing Institute will also be presenting for 90 minutes at this free event.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Join me in Boston on September 30th as I return to my hometown for a workshop about the art of timing the trade. I look forward to seeing all the tigers and tigresses for this special free event.
All action starts early at 7:30 a.m. with a continental breakfast and wraps up at about 1 p.m. Topics that Tom will be covering during his presentation include quality volume, cause and effect, ABC structures, swing points, and much, much more. For all the information on this free Boston event taking place Saturday, September 30th, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
And what else we have? Anyway, I think we went through most of these. Got just a couple of minutes to go here. We looked at the SMHs, wanted to see if there's anything else really going on. HLF, we'll take a quick look at that. This is another one I've been looking at for a possible ABC on the way down. We'll take a closer look at this one. CB. And a lot of people think that you instantly fail at the C. And why you do sometimes, I found that as many times, especially when these things are kind of up at the highs, that they tend to move a great deal more like Herbalife has been moving the last few days. and that is that they just go sideways like this. And that's a lot of people sitting there saying every time it goes up 50 cents, I'm going to put in an order to sell the thing. It did bounce fairly well back on the 21st of August, but since then, there hasn't been a whole lot, a little doji out here today. So kind of looking at that, got a handful of other things. But like I said, volume is poor today. We've got the threat of some selling coming out of some of these insurance companies, and maybe even a lot more if something bad happens this weekend. But I think that's probably enough to put a lid on the market for a little while. And the worst, maybe the market goes sideways. At the best, maybe we get a fairly decent pullback. So I'm kind of thinking that I might be short by the time that I reach and come back to the microphones tomorrow at the same time. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.